every customer is different. Every customer is different in their cloud journey, and every
Mhm.
customer's requirement is different. So we have customers across industries.
What does customer engineering means, and like what does a customer engineer do on a day-to-day basis?
Sometimes, like for anything to happen, there's like a whole village. There's more than 20-25 people
Yeah.
involved. So
Yeah.
it's a huge deal.
Can you cut through the hype? Like, how are customer actually using AI?
You're not keeping up with the change, and the change is so much. Like
Yes.
we were talking about AI, then generative AI, and now agentic AI just in the last 2 years.
How is Google Cloud helping our customers in implementing those services?
Earlier, it was more about building something, right, with
Mhm.
AI.
Mhm.
Now it is more about how are you really directing it.
So, what's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
If you want to move forward in your career,
Mhm.
you have to.
Hello, Shruti. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Good morning.
Good morning to you as well. First of all, thank you so much for accepting my invite and have us recording this podcast so early in the morning. Is 6:30 our time and you have the office after that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to be here.
Okay, so Shruti, before we dive into the big topics, why don't we start with your journey into tech and how you transition from one role to another?
Sure. So I've been in this a country over a decade now. So I started as an intern at Juniper Networks, and then I transitioned into the same company as a full-time employee.
Okay.
It was a great start, by the way. Anyone could ask for as a new person. The whole environment was amazing. People were supportive and encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent 5 years at Juniper as a systems engineer, and then I started working on cloud and transitioned into Google 5 years ago. So I've always been into tech, studied in engineering in Mumbai, India, and
Mm-hmm.
did my master's here in Massachusetts. And yeah, so been in tech all the while.
Okay, awesome. So, what was the transition like from moving, like you started your tech journey in India and then you moved to US and then finally you climbed up to the ladder, way up to the leadership role. So, how was that transition like?
Yeah, I would say it just one step at a time. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely didn't imagine at the time when I was in India that I would land here. But obviously there was a lot of ambition in me and just thought of taking one step at a time, excelling in what I'm doing right now,
Mm-hmm.
and then basically just thinking what is my next career move. Yeah, I would just disintegrate it into that. Simply put.
Awesome, awesome. So, most of our listeners are either students or early stage working professionals. So, the term head of engineering, it sounds interesting, but some of them might find it a little overwhelming. So, can you elaborate this? What does customer engineering means, and like what does a customer engineer do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so a customer engineer is someone who I would say is kind of the technical bridge between the customers and Google Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And we are advocates for the customer. So whatever it is, whether it's starting from the business value, thinking about a solution for their business value,
Mm-hmm.
helping them understand architectures, what will your on-premise or other cloud architectures look like on Google Cloud,
Mm-hmm.
and then finally helping them implement it in their development scenarios or production scenarios. So it's actually an end-to-end relationship that we hold with the customers,
Mm-hmm.
and you want a customer to be successful. So that is kind of top of your mind
Okay.
on Google Cloud. So that is the whole pre-sales customer engineering team role. And
Mm-hmm.
as a head of customer engineering, I have a set of customer engineers who look at the book of business in the Northeast, with the
Mm-hmm.
New England area and New York.
Mm-hmm.
And we basically do the same, very aggressive on what the customer needs, give
Mm-hmm.
them what they want on Google Cloud, help them end to end, and just never hit the customer satisfaction. So
Okay.
that's kind of the role in the gist.
That sounds interesting and like it looks challenging as well because customer might come up with a new requirement and requirement for which there is no existing solutions, right? So how do you cope up with those situations?
That's a great question. So the most exciting part is that no day is the same, right? Because every customer is different. Every
Mm,
customer is different in their cloud journey, and
mhm,
every customer's requirement is different. So we have customers across industries, whether it is retail or it is media and entertainment or
mm,
manufacturing, logistics.
mm,
So I feel the number one step that our team thinks about is what would the customer think?
mhm,
What would the customer face if he or she is in this industry? And
mhm.
then think about what their business values are and what they're looking to solve, and then think about the tech. So
Okay.
if there's no a one-on-one mapping for the tech, we kind of have to be creative.
Mhm,
We need to understand what are the solutions that Google Cloud might be a great fit, and there
mhm,
would be scenarios where probably we might not have a solution. So
mhm,
how do we help? We think about partner ecosystem. So
mhm,
there's different areas where we need to be creative. Also, maybe a solution is a great fit, but the customer does not like the price attached to it, or
sure.
maybe the longevity of how they want to use it. So there's
Mhm,
different scenarios each day with different customers, which
mhm.
is what makes the role more exciting.
Amazing. So if I understood correctly, so you and your team, they got engaged at the very early stage, when we are onboarding the customer or when customer reached out to you, and then from understanding their requirement to developing POCs, consulting with them on a daily basis, and then finally create some solutions for them, and also help them implementing those solution in their lower and higher environments as per the agreement. So is that, like, did I cover all of the high level engagements with the customer?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, awesome. For these kind of engagements, like, I believe there'll be a different plan that customer has to onboard with. And so this engagement is for existing customers and for the newer customers as well. So if there is a new customer that is onboarding with Google Cloud, the process will be the same, right?
Almost. It really depends on like what the starting point is, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
each customer will have a different starting point. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
are early, like I said, in their cloud
Mm-hmm.
adoption journey. Maybe they are on a different, a cloud
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. Maybe they are
Yeah.
facing issues currently. So whatever the customer starting point is, we
Mm.
want to make sure we start there and kind of meet in the middle. So the process generally is the same, but again, the starting point changes.
Okay, that actually reminds me one of the important question. So, do you think with to excel in this role, multi-cloud skill is also helpful? Because you just mentioned like customer might be on a different cloud, or they are looking for possibly a hybrid solution or multi-cloud solution. So, does multi-cloud knowledge helps, or is it actually mandatory for this role?
I wouldn't say it's mandatory. Any additional knowledge helps, I would
Okay,
say.
it's good to
Uh,
have.
it's always good to have. It's
Mm,
it's like when the customer is speaking a different language of a
mhm,
different cloud, you know
mhm.
what he or she is speaking, so you already
Sure.
are one step ahead.
Mm.
But I wouldn't say that not having that would not make you successful in this role.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So, what's your typical day in life as head of customer engineering at a Google?
Yeah, so it's I'm a little early in this role since I
Okay.
just started it,
Okay.
and I'm kind of understanding the different nuances of the
Mhm,
role. And it's not more, it
mhm,
goes beyond people management, right? It is
mhm,
more about defining or understanding the strategy for the team from a business point of view and helping people achieve that, right?
okay.
So that's how we all win. So
Mhm,
and it's not that when you're thinking about a customer or an engagement, not one individual is involved. It's like
mhm,
a whole team of people that go for it, whether it's the field sales people or the customer engineers or
mhm,
specialists
mhm,
involved, overlay teams.
mhm.
Sometimes like for anything to happen, there's like a whole village. There's more than 20-25 people
Yeah.
involved, so
Yeah.
it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
So no one day is similar. I'll be honest, Piyush.
Mhm,
It has been quite busy for
mhm,
me to get into each area of
mhm,
the function.
mhm,
But it's just fantastic because the way technology is moving, the way customers are moving, and the way we kind of want to be a step ahead of them and help
mhm,
them,
mhm,
it's all about that if you zoom out.
Mhm.
Day to day is no day is similar, so it's very difficult to kind of
Mhm.
talk about one day.
Mhm.
Sometimes you're talking to the customer very closely, listening to their issues or business problems.
Mhm.
The other day you are just simply understanding what technology is gone
Mhm.
private preview and what
Yes.
technology is out there. And then I'm also a hands-on customer engineer, in just starting with in the leadership role, so I want to make sure that I'm also hands-on and very close to the technical part.
Yeah.
So it's not it goes beyond people management. I think this role entails more than that.
It's great to know that even with this position, with this role, you are also hands on, and you like to test out things yourself, and you like to put yourself in customer shoes, like how would they feel if they were trying this particular tool or service offered by Google Cloud. And it's good to empathize with the customer, and we'll talk about empathy later in this podcast. But for now, so you mentioned like every day is a new day, right? So you'll be learning a lot of new stuff, and you'll be implementing those newly learned technologies and tools on a day-to-day basis. So like how important it is to keep ourselves upskilled in this journey, and like how do we keep up with that? Like there is almost like hundreds of things that is coming in our way in this AI era, right, as we move forward. So how do we keep up with that?
Yeah, the reason I'm smiling is because you're asking like the $1 million question. Because like already you have the fundamental things to do, and then you want to do a little bit more than your
Mm.
fundamental role, and then the top of that is just keeping up with the technology, right?
Yeah.
So I feel I kind of divide the whole week into some chunks. So
Okay.
I will have 2 to 3 things that I want to achieve this week, which is
Mm-hmm.
like my top priority for the role.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do try to put focus time, which is highly
Okay.
regarded in at Google, and
Mm-hmm.
then sit down and think about, okay, what are the top customers that I want to think about and maybe go a little bit deep into, or maybe not. Like those might not be the top customers, and then spend like 1 hour listening to podcasts or any important updates that come on our channels, and
Yep.
just read through the comments, right? Just understand what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will say that I am not able to repeat this every week though, but I do want to say, I do want to make sure sometimes that I put some time down,
Mm-hmm.
because without that you are just mechanically doing your role, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you're not keeping up with the change, and the change is
True.
so much. Like
Yes.
we were talking about AI, then generative AI, and now agentic AI just
Mm.
in the last 2 years. So
Yes.
it's we've come a long way with
Yeah.
and Google releasing new models each
Mm.
time. So
Mm.
I feel like it's an effort that you have to make
Mm.
to keep up.
Yeah, totally agree with you on this as well. Like, yes, we cannot learn everything, we cannot keep up with everything that is being going on, but we have to put some effort, we have to prioritize some things over other. We have to, as you said, like do the calendar block, focus time, and whatever it works for us, right? There are so many
Yeah,
techniques of learning and productivity, and we have to just select what work best for us,
that is correct.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, what's the most surprising or unexpected part of your role that people wouldn't guess? Like something that excites you, something that makes you feel like you are doing something.
There's two things.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing is, although it talks about customer engineering, and many people will think that this is
Mm-hmm.
purely technical, you think about solutions, you talk about solutions, you build
Mm-hmm.
solutions for the customer. But
Mm-hmm.
a big aspect of this whole role is having that business acumen and helping the customer solve those business issues
Yep.
and problems,
Mm-hmm.
and then think about the tech. So you do have to sometimes go beyond the technical realm and think, what will, let's say there's a manufacturing customer,
Mm-hmm.
what are the issues that a typical manufacturing customer would
Yep.
face?
Mm-hmm.
What are the implications of, let's say, tariffs on this manufacturing customer? So where are they thinking? So sometimes we also get into the information that is shared by the customer online, study them, study their areas, what they've said,
Mm-hmm.
along with obviously our counterparts. It's not that you do it all the time, but I feel that a big aspect of this role is also thinking about the business.
Okay.
That kind of does excite me because then you kind of know what is happening in the world, you know what where the businesses are going, you know where the shift is. An
Mm-hmm.
example I can give you is during COVID, we know what supply chain happened to that industry, and we
Mm-hmm.
know that it was very difficult. So there were solutions which kind of helped them have that visibility,
Mm-hmm.
which was game changing, right? I mean, it was an issue that nobody knew that was going to happen and affect. So a big part of that is business, and the second part is also how the technology really affects the customer. So after implementing the solution and then looking at the customer, wow, like we did that, this is how they're improving, this is how it is help the technology is helping them in their day to day, so that they can focus their area and thought process on something else.
Yeah.
So it's just that change, and seeing that change happen in real life, that's the most exciting part.
That's great. I mean, it's good to take pride in what to do. That's the only way to excel in your job, because if you are feeling like you're stuck somewhere and just doing your job because it pays your bill, that won't help anyone with in the long run, right? You have
Yeah,
to enjoy what you do, and that's the
yeah,
only way, right?
yeah.
Okay, so when a company struggles with its cloud journey, is the problem usually the technology, like which cloud to choose, whether to go with Kubernetes for scalability, or whether you choose any existing service or build a new one? What are the most common problems that customer face?
Yeah, I would say choosing the cloud or choosing a technology wouldn't be the toughest part.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it is how we make that change,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So, first of all, if the customer is locked in on why that change is required, it makes the whole journey more easier. So,
Okay.
if there's a clarity on why,
Mm-hmm.
and then you think about how are we going to make that change. And the reason I'm saying is because there have been many customers who are in the traditional legacy environments. They are set in their ways, right? They know what the technologies are, they have hired people who are very comfortable with the technology,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a sudden change if they want to scale that, maybe the leadership is introducing cloud, so there's like a cultural change, there's a technology change, there's an adaptive nature that you have to address, that you need to probably hire more people, or so there's many nuances of how you want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? When why is locked,
Mm-hmm.
the what comes later. The
Yeah.
what is more about what the technology is, what the architecture will look like. So I do feel from the experience that I have, the what is more easier to achieve. It's the
Mm-hmm.
how, where the customers are kind of stuck in.
Okay, so it's more about solving the problem, and like what the problem that we are solving, rather than what solution we are giving them. Solution comes next, as you mentioned earlier as well, that the cloud comes next or the service comes next, tech comes next.
Mhm.
First, we have to understand the customer's requirement, their pain point, and what solution we are giving to them.
Correct. And that's where we kind of do lean in, and we do want to help the customer show that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is where Google Cloud partners. We do
Mm-hmm.
look at ourselves as technology partners,
Mm-hmm.
and then just help the customer in whichever areas that we can.
So you work with massive companies moving to cloud, and you often talk to other companies and customers about leadership mindset that is needed to be successful. So what do you mean by this? Is that just for the CEO and higher management, or is it usually required and needed for junior developers and other professionals as well?
Yeah, I feel like the leadership mindset needs to be top down and, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a little different from the work that we're doing. It's more about each organization. And the reason I'm saying that is because even as an individual contributor at this organization that I'm working at,
Mm-hmm.
I never felt that I am not empowered to take a decision.
Yep.
And that's the culture at
Mm-hmm.
Google, right? Whether it's my manager, whether it's my peers, whether it's my, skip level leadership,
Mm-hmm.
I never felt that if this is something that is going to change, or is if this is the step that I take which is going to benefit the customer,
Mm-hmm.
should I take it or no? Obviously you think about it, you discuss it, but I never felt that you know you should not do it, or this is not your role, or this is not the limit of your role. So I feel like the mindset comes from that,
Mm-hmm.
of taking the lead in executing the plan, because there's many people who plan, there's very few who execute.
Yeah.
So I feel like the mindset comes from like whatever level you are at, whether you're a beginner or whether you are up there.
Mm-hmm.
um, i think I think it's more important for us to kind of take charge and then execute. So
Okay.
that's why that statement. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So, okay, let's shift our gears toward AI, which is the biggest buzzword these days. I mean, not just this year, but for the past few years. So, from your vantage point at Google, can you cut through the hype? Like, how are customer actually using AI to help their customers, and how is Google Cloud helping our customers in implementing those services?
Yeah, there's a ton of work, so I don't know where
Yeah.
to start. There's these new models, right? Let me just disintegrate it
Hmm.
into technology and the issues that we're
Mhm.
seeing. So there's these new models which were rolled out, which are extremely powerful and game
Mhm.
changing, but what we read in the news is more at the consumer level,
Mhm.
right? So when we are thinking about helping organizations, it is at the enterprise level, where what is an organization, what is the issue that an organization is facing.
Mhm.
So some of the common use cases are, maybe there is like, and I'm going a little bit narrow in my use
Sure.
case, are maybe there's a ticketing system, or
Mhm.
there's a support system where many people are spending time in resolving an issue, or
Mhm.
finding through different documents through their different data sets
Mhm.
and coming to a conclusion.
Mhm.
uh, the amount of hours, you won't believe, Piyush, that people do spend, which has now come down to seconds because
Mhm.
of these models, generative models, is just fascinating,
Yeah.
right? So instead of, and that is like one simple example that I wanted to give, because each organization will have, a support system, or a team which is going to help the end customer help
Mhm.
resolve
Mhm.
whoever it is, whether it's a banking, financial services, or whether it's a retail. You always have an issue and you call the customer service.
Yes.
So that is so powerful, where it just goes across your data sets, looks at what the issue is and
Mhm.
comes back with an answer within seconds.
Mhm.
That is fundamentally game changing, because then the team can be concentrating on something else again.
Okay.
So that this is like one example of several examples that we've
Mhm.
kind of touched, and we are also in the this era of implementing these models, or implementing these solutions overall, which is saving people's time,
Mhm.
eventually dollars
Mhm.
in the long run. So um, it's just a lot of things. It's a lot of things that we do, which is, yeah, it's very difficult to kind of condense it. But that was one example that is on top of my mind.
That's great to know. But like there is also a fear that AI will make the customer engagement more robotics. Right. For example, these days when you face an issue, you go to the website, you open their chatbot and you start interacting with that. But if it's not properly implemented, if the model is not fine tuned with their data sets, it does not give customized response to your query. And sometimes, it hallucinates and it gives some irrelevant response. And you just, as a customer, you just want to talk to a real person.
Yeah.
So, how do you think industry is adopting that change? Or like, is it just making customer experience better, or is it just the other way around?
Yeah, I can just, if you don't mind, I'll divide the answer into two
Yes.
things. Number one part of your question is it's going to be robotic.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we might reach that point, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like as humans, we need to pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading one article when I was pretty young, when the internet was like a huge revolutionary thing, right? Like, there's internet now, and you can get connected to people across the world. But I wouldn't say that kind of took away anyone's job at the moment, is what I've been reading on the article says, because it is all about pivoting. Like, there was internet, then there's this machine learning, AI came in, and the rest is history. So I feel like we need to pivot each time. I
mm,
think I right now we're in the era of this hybrid mode where the tier one conversations probably are been, taken care of by the
mm,
tech, but
mhm,
there's always going to be tier two conversations where
mm,
you need to have human in the loop, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
we're in this that era right now.
mm,
um, to answer your second question, how is the customer experience? I think we're in that phase where it'll stick.
mhm,
So the tech is being implemented, the tech is being also experimented, and so far that in my experience it has been working fantastic. And I'm not just talking about Google Tech, just overall, where example could be, maybe we have a banking app and you want to kind of cancel a card or maybe reorder a card, and you just do that within seconds on the chat.
mm,
So
mhm,
you don't have to wait in line for an operator to come
mm.
to you, talk to you, and then I think that's a fantastic customer experience right there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mm,
So I feel like some of the day-to-day bana exercises that we do or tasks we do, which
mhm,
is just taken care of by the technology, absolutely
mm.
fine, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Okay. So, if I understood this correctly, because we are in this transition phase, we might feel overwhelming right now, where we have this urge to talk to a real person, right, instead of talking to a chatbot. But there'll be a time in the near future when it'll be like a new normal to talk to the chatbots, and people wouldn't even remember that we used to interact with real persons earlier.
Correct. And there's such a fine line between, like, when you interact with a person versus the tech, because the tone that generally has robotic tone that you have,
Mm,
there's been a change in that robotic tone as
yeah.
well. It made it look like natural person or natural
Yes.
language or as close to a human
Mm-hmm.
speaking. So even that is changing overall. So I mean, it's pretty fascinating to see
Yeah,
it.
it's exciting times to be in. It's scary sometimes, but yes, it is exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what are the most common use cases of AI that GCP customers are using these days? Some examples or industry that you think are relevant to this.
Well, the one that I did explain was the customer service, where you are thinking about
Mm,
pivoting your frontier customer support engineers
mm,
to do something more complex. So anything that already has an answer is rinse and repeated answer.
mm,
Generally, tech takes over.
mm,
That would be one. The other one, which has been very fascinating, is kind of summarizing or helping, being an assistant. So
mhm,
you'll see an assistant at every stage where information retrieval, basically the big RAG architecture that we are talking about,
mhm,
crawls across the information that you have and gives you any answer to the question
mhm.
as a consumer. So that's something we're seeing in the retail industry.
Okay.
Um, and then we do have amazing use cases and game changing use cases with healthcare industry as well,
Okay.
which kind of does touch the human lives.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
it is actually making the real life impact that we wanted
exactly.
it to be. It's not just for, image generation or content creation. It's way beyond that. It's actually saving people's life, predicting, some symptoms at the very early stage of a common disease. And so, because there is a lot of research that been going on with this area as well, especially with healthcare, because when it comes to saving life, so that's take priority over anything else, any other use case, any other issues, right? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I said that generally we think about some of the things around images and video generation. It's very consumer focused, but the use cases that we see day to day are very
Mm-hmm.
enterprise, large scale, which impact organizations overall. Which is why it is amazing to look at the changes happening.
All right, Shruti, I'm just going to throw a few questions at you, and you don't have to be descriptive, just whatever you feel on top of your head. So, what's one technical skill you believe every professional should learn in the next few years or in the near future?
I feel like more than technical, still it's skill. It is like stay on top of it. I think that's more important. The technology is going to come in and change, but just stay
Yes.
on top of it, and you should know the latest and the greatest.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. A book, a podcast, or a blog that has a big impact on your career?
There are several books, but the latest one is Jenny Wood,
Mm-hmm.
Wild Courage,
Okay.
which is something which we always fear,
Mm-hmm.
especially as an Asian woman in the
Mm-hmm.
technology and also
Mm-hmm.
in the leadership scenario. I think we just fear a lot. We don't speak up.
Mm-hmm.
But that book kind of changed my perspective, and it's not just reading; it's also implementing. So I think about it as reading it, taking it in, and what can I do? What can I change?
Mm-hmm.
So that's been like my latest one. Podcasts have been like many technical podcasts that I would say. It's very difficult to name one. And what was the third one?
A blog.
Blogs generally, I just take it as I go. There's many apps that I read
Okay. Same.
online. I do watch like TEDx videos a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it is right from the spiritual, right from inspiration to technical,
Mm-hmm.
whatever comes my way, I think I
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah.
Any top podcast creators that you usually follow, not just for learning tech, but also like some, maybe productivity, personal, or spiritual thing, anything?
So there's many podcasts which speaks about like AI on top of AI. Speak of AI is one.
Mm-hmm.
Evolution.ai is the other one,
Okay.
which kind of gives you an idea of what the other
Okay.
companies are doing or what is happening in the whole AI world.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like my top ones that I go
Okay.
to.
Awesome.
But otherwise, like there's always these news areas about TechCrunch, like Business Insiders, and all these news
Mm-hmm.
outlets that are
Yeah.
pretty much on my
Okay.
mobile. Yeah.
Awesome. Then thanks for sharing this as well. So what's the best piece of advice you have ever received?
The best one I would say is if you want to move forward in your career,
Mm-hmm.
you have to do best today in your current role.
Yeah.
So, from a career perspective,
Mm-hmm.
that was game changing because I was looking at leadership since a while now. And obviously, I was worried, is it too early? Do I have the experience? Obviously, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
But for anyone to look at me, be worthy of that position, I
Mm-hmm.
have to excel in my day to day so well
Mm-hmm.
that people will eventually look at you that XYZ is probably doing something good in their day to day.
Yeah.
Maybe, they might take the next step. So I feel people think about where do I want to go? What is my 5 year plan? What is my 2 year plan?
Mm-hmm.
It's great to have, but do that as you are excelling thoroughly in your day to day. I think that was a game changing advice. And I do want to say, call out, that was given by Roshni, who used to be a customer engineering director at Google. She left
Okay.
Google recently, but amazing personality and a great mentor. So that advice from her has stuck with me.
Amazing. A huge shout out to Roshni for spreading the light and
Yeah,
positivity. I was that remind me of something that I was reading yesterday. So it's a book called You O You, and in that there was a incident. There was a phrase which mentioned around the same topic, and it says, sacrifice good for greater, or sacrifice good for great. So like always shoot for the high star, only then you will land up in somewhere close to that. So
correct.
that's actually a really great advice that you have shared. Amazing. So what's a common myth about working in a big tech company like Google, if you would like to share anything on that?
Pretty much like you might be a small fish in a huge like sea, or I feel like
Mm,
if you are making a great impact, and if you are spreading your network or talking to people and sharing what you're doing and kind of advocating for yourself, whether it's a small, medium, or large organization, I think you will find your way. So
definitely.
I don't think of it as a small or large organization. It's more
Mm,
about what is in front of you and how you are impacting that.
mhm,
And no need to think too much. Like I would like to divide any large or complex thing into like small things,
mhm,
or big ambition to divide it into small steps.
mhm,
So just take it, make it small, make it simple,
yeah,
make it
mhm,
for the week or for the day. I
mhm,
think just doing small things consistently will
mhm.
eventually take you there. So yeah, that's what I think.
That's great. That's great piece of advice once again. And I think this will be a good time to end the podcast. Like, I wish we had more time, but I respect your time as well. You have to like continue with your daily chores and then eventually your office. So thank you so much once again, Shruti, for joining us and sharing all the insights from the tech industry, from the leadership perspective, and how did that help in your journey, and how did that help grow as a professional. So any last piece of advice that you would like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, I just want to share that, just consistency is the key. Very
Yes.
few are consistent
Mhm.
at it day to day, day after day. I
Mhm.
feel that is the key. Very difficult to do, but
Yes,
if you do it, there's no end. There's no limit to what you can achieve. So
definitely.
yeah,
Awesome.
I'm
Thank you.
still learning. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me, by the way.
Thank you, Shruti, once again. Have a good
Yeah.
day. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.